warning. It's a warning sign to show that this particular piece of land, nothing should happen on it until a further lawsuit is being, or a further lawsuit, maybe disagreement, or maybe anything further concerning that piece of land or asset is being resolved. So that is one of the quickest ways. In fact, we call them interim remedies. An interim remedy is basically you are giving the fact that if someone is contesting your piece of property and you know that you're the rightful owner, if they bring a fake title, then you can lodge a caveat onto that piece of land, and then you can present your legitimate title that, hey, I'm the actual owner of this land in Chanja, block this, or I'm the owner of Cham Towers in town. Number two, the moment you then put a caveat on your piece of land, you can then move for another application for a temporary injunction. Now, what is an injunction? An injunction is a court order which your lawyer duly applies for under the courts of law, which is a document which stops anything from happening on your piece of land pending a further lawsuit. So an injunction is basically a document that you get from court through your lawyer that is going to stop anything from happening on a piece of land, especially concerning issues of someone is trying to sell your land fraudulently. Maybe a bank is trying to take your piece of land, maybe in terms of mortgage or in terms of a loan, and let's say anything concerning a dispute and your piece of land or property is under siege or someone is trying to sell it, then you need an injunction. There are two types of injunctions. Like I said, there are temporary injunctions and the permanent injunctions. A temporary injunction is one which it's kind of related to a caveat, but an injunction that you get in a temporary way is something that you get to be able to stop anything, maybe to stop a fraudulent transaction. I'll still give the example of someone who is trying to sell your piece of land fraudulently. If someone comes up with fake titles, so many times in land's office we face situations where someone has gotten a fake title and they're interested in your piece of land, they want to sell it, and someone alerts you that, by the way, someone has actually sold your land to a buyer. You can go and contest that purchase or that transaction through lodging a temporary injunction. A permanent injunction comes in situations where the situation is so contentious, the situation is so complicated that person already sold your piece of land even when you're the legitimate owner, and that the buyer of that piece of land, which happened fraudulently, is also demanding for their money back. They have all sued in court, so that you can actually put a permanent injunction which can then hold that piece of land, stop it from anything happening onto that piece of land until a lawsuit is finally resolved. So step number 3, it is also important, and this may be the most obvious, is to actually register your assets. So this is a very, very clear way of doing things, and I guess everyone does them, but it may not seem so obvious for especially people who purchase things and do not go through the legitimate way of transferring assets into your name. Now I'll give you a very big example. Most people will buy a piece of land, but they will not undergo the process of transferring that land into your name, or transfer of title. What does this mean? Transfer of title is basically you, after a land purchase or after buying a car, it's always important to transfer that piece of property from the other person's name who was the seller to you who is the buyer. So I've gotten situations where many people have